Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Softball versus Root QXC Game 4 in this series. Here in Xel'Naga Caverns, we have Root QXC telling him that he has to be right back. He's in the middle of a tornado. Don't quite believe him. I know where he lives, or I know he lives in California, unless he's already moved recently because he went back home for the holidays. But yeah, anyways, Root QXC spawning on the south side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Softball spawning as the red Zerg this time on the north side of the map. Xel'Naga Caverns, one of those maps where a lot can happen just because of after this natural expansion here, a lot of third bases are very difficult to take. The Zerg player normally tries to take this as their third base. Meanwhile, the Terran player normally tries to take this as their third base, and this perhaps at the same time, as well as those planetary fortresses are very strong. However, as we have seen Sen use a lot of banelings very effectively, especially against planetary fortresses, I wonder if QXC will fall prey and try to over-rely on planetary fortresses once again. We do see an SCV now making its way north across the map. We'll be able to do some scouting, and it looks as though this SCV wants to place down an engineering bay here, most likely, as in the past 3 games, Softball has decided to go for a very, very early 15 or 14 hatchery. However, now we see an extractor being placed down by Softball. And with this extractor, it looks as though he's going to go extractor and into a spawning pool, meaning that this engineering bay is not going to be very useful at all. We do see an overlord now in the air, and as he sees QXC currently trying to build an engineering bay, he's kind of snickering to himself, saying that engineering bay, not much, no mileage out of that engineering bay there, now as we are currently getting a barracks. Now, off of this particular opening, there are a lot of options that a Zerg player can try to go for. The engineering bay does have a lot of hit points left, and also will take quite some time will take quite some time for some Zerglings to try to take down. The SCV now wandering around on the inside, getting plenty of sight so far, and now we also see a decent amount of gas. The key question will be whether or not Softball does try to produce some early Zerglings, or if he even tries to go for roaches. If he goes for an early roach run, that would be fairly effective, as now Zerglings are now being trained up. We do have a queen currently being trained as well, and we should most likely get that metabolic boost underway in just a moment. SCV still wandering around on the inside as Softball is now getting that metabolic boost. Back over here, QXC is in fact getting more and more Marines, as those Marines are going to try to walk up that ramp in just a moment. However, Zerglings will be able to come down here and destroy this engineering bay as this queen is about halfway done. You can see that Softball is no longer mining anything out of this extractor here, as he's now trying to transfer some drones down. We do see that those Zerglings are dealing a lot of damage towards this over here, and I believe there was one Marine. Where did the Marine go? The Marine, I guess, decided to return all the way home. No, activating this Xel'Naga watchtower here, and now once again on the move. The SCV still able to see a lot of information so far, and give me one moment. Alright, sorry about that. Gonna go ahead and unpause this game as we now have some Zerglings making their way down south towards the other side of the map. We do see an SCV currently down over here, and there will be a decent front door now coming in as this Marine desperately tries to be able to make it up this ramp and prevent any of those Zerglings. Will he be able to make it in time? Yes, it looks like he will be able to. Now raising that supply depot, and now some of those Zerglings, oh no, none of those Zerglings were taken down, as Softball was able to micro those Zerglings back. We do see another supply depot here, so interestingly enough, he did not add a tech lab, and now he will be able to lift off this barracks and then place it back down here. We do see a 1-1-1 build, a 1 barracks, 1 factory into a starport as this game continues, and now Softball laying down this hatchery will be able to start mining out of there in just a moment, as that hatchery is nearly completed, only needs 25 game seconds or so. Back over here, Softball is currently just continuing to spawn more larvae, needs to get more creep tumors down and close the walking distances between his main base and his natural expansion. We do finally see that he's currently mining out some additional gas as well, but I do not see any tech to tier 2 just quite yet, as we are getting a third queen. Back over here, a Hellion now on the move. A Hellion will be able to torch that Zergling fairly easily, and once again trying to engage against that one Zergling. Zergling hopping and skipping across the map with that metabolic boost, able to move very, very quickly, and now in come these Zerglings. Zerglings perhaps trying to get a surround on a Hellion, but that Hellion now has a friend, and those 2 Hellions will be able to get a lot of damage dealt very, very quickly. So now trying to come back over here. We do see some Marines over here, and those Marines going to be able to take some damage. However, those Zerglings backing off, so those Zerglings unable to deal any damage towards those Marines. back over here on this front door. QXC just doing a great job microing and now training up Banshees. So a very, very nice opening so far from QXC. QXC using Marines into Hellions and into Banshees, knowing that only those Banshees are going to require any serious gas there. Those Queens, however, now getting caught off of creep and now be able to come back around the far side and perhaps deal some damage towards some of those drones. No, those Hellions need to try to pull away, get some damage out, and then move back and forth. We do see some of those Hellions here getting a lot of damage out across multiple Zerglings. Marines now doing a great job being microed and now moving back and forth. Zerglings once again caught out of position there as Marines now make their way towards these Queens. Queens are getting picked off a little bit left and right and trying to deal more and more damage. Down goes one Queen. More Zerglings now trying to come in. Zerglings unable to deal any serious damage though, as those Marines and those Hellions are just able to torch and deal so much damage so easily, but those Zerglings are going to be able to clean up the rest. But in comes a Banshee, and that Banshee now is going to start picking apart many of those low hit point Zerglings, as those Zerglings, since they are low on hit points, only need one shot to get taken down. We do see a new hatchery now coming in, and now, sorry, a new Queen now coming in, as that two Queens are going to be able to take down that one Banshee very easily, cloaking right next to an Overseer Cocoon, as that Overseer is not yet up and running. A nice transfusion there, now trying to deal more damage across multiple drones, as that Banshee now very, very dangerously low on hit points, down to 23 hit points there. We do have a second Banshee now coming in with a third Banshee on the way, and QXC taking this opportunity to expand, also getting an armory. So with this armory, he may transition into a medevac and Thors. Thors are very, very strong against Queens, only taking about 3 rounds of attack in order to shoot them down. Also, Queens have a relatively short range of attack, only a range of 3, and get taken down very, very quickly. This one Banshee trying to deal more damage and now needs to pull off, perhaps try to get repaired. As this one hatchery currently being built, I do not believe QXC will quickly see this. No, yes, he does see this there, and now he may try to move back over and at least try to delay this one hatchery from coming in. We do see some Zerglings now trying to take down these rocks. Those rocks, however, will take quite some time to take down, as we now see another Overseer Cocoon currently being trained up. Not quite sure exactly where, but I do see it in the production tab. Too bad I can't click there in order to find it. The hatchery will get taken down in just a moment, and we now see a reactor being placed down. We are getting more Hellions and the Infernal Pre-Igniter research. So those Hellions will be able to take down many Zerglings very, very quickly, as it only takes 2 rounds of attack. And now a fresh Banshee coming in once again. A full hit point Banshee with a little bit of cloaking energy to try to deal more damage. I do not see any cloaks, any detectors here, and now this Banshee will be able to rack up those kills once again, trying to get as many kills as possible, trying to rack up those kills. We do see an Overseer now coming in. Down it goes, and now the Overseer does have a very, very fast movement speed. However, the Queens will not be able to keep track over here, as the Banshee now coming into this location here. Do we see another Overseer? The Overseer, yes, is going to be able to spot that one Banshee here, and that Banshee is going to have its days numbered, as there are now Mutalisks in the air able to take down that Banshee. So down it goes, but I believe that Banshee had 7 kills. Well worth its weight as those drones were taken down. We now see another hatchery and now a Roachborn coming in. So a nice transition coming in from Softball. Softball transitioning into Roaches with additional larvae. So being able to produce off of 3 hatcheries should be able to, if he's able to mass up enough Roaches, even those Roaches will simply be able to just reach critical mass and take down that Thor very, very easily. We do see a couple of Mutalisks in the air. The key thing to watch will be the production tab coming up next. What is Softball going to be training? Currently training up 2 more Mutalisks, as there are now 5 Mutalisks in the air looking to deal some damage. There are a couple of Marines over here, and now going after those very, very vulnerable Hellions, as those Hellions obviously cannot attack the air. And now one fresh new cloaked Banshee now coming in once again. Will this Banshee be able to deal any serious damage? The Banshee is currently sitting at 68 energy now. We do have 1 Thor and now more Hellions currently being trained. However, we are currently supply locked. So currently supply locked with 3 supply depots now being trained up as well. More missile turrets coming in play, and now bunkers in position in order to fend off this attack. Mutalisks now in the air. However, there is 1 Thor on the ground, and that Thor looking to deal some damage with that range of 10 Javelin missile launchers. Should be able to get a cluster of attack. There we go. A lot of damage dealt across multiple Mutalisks. About more than 120 damage dealt across 3 of those Mutalisks there. We do see a couple Overlords now in position, and now this Cloaked Banshee was able to get off 10 quick kills once again. So these Banshees are really just being worth their weight so far, as QXC is taking this time to micro his units And as he's microing his units, he should be able to start macroing up a very, very large army, as he does have more and more minerals being able to mine off of mules. But now Softball coming back in with a very strong economy as of his own, able to start mining off of these gold minerals as well. And those gold minerals do not take nearly as many SCVs in order to reach maximum mining capacity. We do see now 2 Thors in play, a third one being trained, with Hellions being trained as well, and now perhaps we're going to get more Marines and Marauders to try to fend off this attack. Hellions on the move, trying to get some damage dealt. However, Zergling's going to be able to fend off that attack, and now will he be able to get any more damage dealt? No. That Hellion able to barely drive away faster than any of those Zerglings, and now that Hellion wants to get some damage, will be able to perhaps get even 1 kill. There it goes, able to get 1 final kill before that Hellion gets taken down by those Mutalisks. So we now have 9 Mutalisks in the air in a nice, good clump here, as we have multiple queens and also getting the level 1 Carapace upgrades. But it looks as though QXC wants to move out with this very, very strong army of Hellions and Thors. Will this Marine and Thor army be able to deal enough damage? It does not look good for this particular expansion here, but the Roaches do only have level 1 armor, or 0 armor. 0 upgraded armor, so only a base of 1 armor. Now as these Marines now try to make their way out, the Marines now trying to use Stimpack, trying to take down some of those Queens now very, very low on hit points, and this hatchery will get taken down relatively easily. But there is a Baneling nest over here just waiting to move out and perhaps starting to deal some damage. Those stores, however, moving much, much more slowly than the rest of those Roaches and those Banelings. Those stores will be on the backside. 1 Thor, not quite sure where he's going, decides to return home, as that is not the place that he wants to be. 1 Overseer now in the air. Perhaps some Changelings need to be dropped down as well, as we currently have 3 Thors in play. Production-wise, the Combat Shield, level 2 Infantry and Weapons upgrade, some Medivacs, and now the Marines looking to take down these Destructible Rocks for another expansion. Back over here, an Overlord is in position. I do not believe, the Overlord is able to see over this brush, however, not the vice versa. And now another Overlord getting taken down there. A command center probably upgraded to an orbital command at some point will be placed down there, as the Roach is now trying to engage. Banelings gonna get caught in the back there along their own Roaches, and now the Marines able to pull back in time in order to get some distance from that splash damage. And now with so many Thors, all of those Thors are currently in the orange or in the red, but there are going to be some SCVs over to repair, and now 14 SCVs working double time in order to make sure that this Thor army, no, I guess it doesn't care about that Thor army right now, as it now perhaps should be trying to repair some of those Thors. That is a very, very heavy investment in Thors. Yeah, finally 4 SCVs once again trying to be repaired. We do see scanner sweeps now coming in to try to clean up some of these creep tumors. Another hatchery has been replaced down here, as Softball staying in this game economically speaking. 70 Harvesters, however, for Root QXC against Softball's 52, and this number is going to get worse as Mules get called down into here. So as those Mules call down, those Mules are simply going to be able to jump back perhaps into the 2,000 range for this one expansion here. Yeah, 2,000 minerals every game minute as Marines trying to clean up these Overlords and trying to stop, trying to be able to make sure that they can get some critical drops in play. There are Roaches with that level 1 armor upgrade now, and now 9 more Mutalisks being trained. So we have a lot of Marines and Medivacs in the air. Thor's on the ground. Down goes another Overlord there, as the scanner sweep reveals this particular expansion once again. So we are on the move, and this is going to be a difficult situation for QXC. QXC might get flanked here, as there's Roaches here currently burrowed, and now also Banelings and Zerglings. However, no burrowed movement, so that is going to become a problem, as those Roaches perhaps are going to be able to just simply uproot and now go after all of these Marines. All of these Marines are going to have a problem there, but they will be able to take down that hatchery. The Marines, however, losing a lot of casualties there, and down it goes finally to 1 Banelings. But there is not that many drones, not many minerals left, and now Softball in trouble as he needs to rebuild hatcheries for the 4th and 5th time, essentially. We do have more Banelings coming in. Roaches now once again on the ground. We'll see what's going to be happening to them in just a moment. And now back down over here, we do have a Planetary Fortress. Thor's on the ground. SCV is trying to repair. Will be able to repair, soak up a lot of damage as these Thors just trying to fight back against these massive number of Roaches. Roaches finally able to take down the command center, the Planetary Fortress, even though it had 3 armor. And now it looks as though Root QXC will need to reestablish this expansion over here. But now QXC trying to capitalize on this attack. There are a bunch of burrowed roaches, and now banelings coming in. Those banelings, however, are going to be able to catch in just a second. And now out come those banelings. Banelings need to roll into this group of marines here and start melting the rest of that attack. Roaches should be able to deal a lot of damage across multiple Thors, as there are a lot of roaches here. The siege tanks also soaking up a lot of that damage, as well as those roaches now finishing off that last Thor. So once again, on the move, there are a lot of units, and now perhaps the Zerglings want to come in, try to deal more damage. Siege tanks in siege mode, able to blast away, deal a lot of damage, and now back and forth. But taking a look at the economy, we see QXC currently mining out of here and mining out of here, doing some long distance mining from here. Not quite sure why, as these mineral patches are far from being fully saturated. Marines now coming in, a skeleton crew with 2 medevac, and now Baneling simply going to be able to roll through once again, finish off this attack, an emergency evac pickup, in order to make sure that these medevacs are going to be able to fight another day. I do not see any additional Mutalisks in the air to try to finish off some of these medevacs. There are a couple of these Marauders now up on that high ground. No, sorry, roaches up on that high ground. So these units will not be able to do anything at all. Sorry, so these Marauders won't be able to do anything at all. And Marines and Marauders once again on the move north will be able to deal even more damage, as my phone keeps on ringing today. Don't know why. And we do see a lot of roaches constantly on the move. Once again, Zerglings and roaches trying to pick off more units even further, as Marines and Marauders trying to make their way back up to the north. Will any more damage be dealt? Not quite sure, as there's more roaches and just fighting back and forth. Sorry about all the distractions so far in this game, as this queen continued to fight back and things are not looking good. I believe Softball will be forced to say GG in just a moment. Drones coming off the mineral line, but those Marines getting some distance, now fighting behind those mineral patches. And now even further, Softball very, very much behind. We may see another drop coming in. No, Marauder not getting picked off here, but the Marines were able to completely clear out this expansion of drones. So Softball does have a lot of larva. He's sitting on a fair amount of larva across multiple hatcheries, keeping on top of that spawn larva ability, but without his economy, it's not going to really matter how much larva he has, as the Marines are just able to constantly clean up further. Zerglings and roaches once again on the move. Marines trying to pull back, trying to fight back even further, able to get some distance between those units, and now able to finish out the last of these couple of roaches here. Banelings are now going to try to roll in. It looks as though those Marines are going to try to get some distance, and now a nice pick up there. 2 Marines taken down, but I believe the losses were more heavy for Softball. Drones now trying to do some more long distance mining, more Marauders and Marines up on that high ground. And now we are going to start moving out further with another Marine Siege Tank Marauder army, as we also have this QXC reestablish this expansion here. So, as Softball says GG. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay. Time to get all those unanswered calls.